Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are the Lions.
It is a lovely summer Sunday in Cincinnati, and we welcome you to Great American Ballpark. The crowd rolling in for the decisive game of this three-game series after the heartbreaker yesterday. Brandon Phillips and company hoping to rebound today and win the series against the Dodgers. And no, we're no longer in the Fox Sports condominium. He's Jeff Pecoro, and I'm Jim Day. And a tough one yesterday. Pick a very tough one.
That was a tough one, Jimmy, man. I can't believe we lost that one. Unbelievable. Man, are you good looking.
You look very handsome yourself. All right, enough of that. He's Sean Casey. I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us. But that game yesterday, you pay your big stars the big money to deliver when the game is on the line, and the Dodgers, unfortunately for the Reds, got that out of Matt Kemp yesterday.
Well, he delivered. I think coming into this series, you knew that Ethier and Kemp are the two guys that could beat you, and Matt Kemp really did that yesterday. Had the home run early to make it 4-2, but they had no place to put him when they had bases loaded late in the game, and he comes up right here in the 8th inning, nowhere to put him, gets a pitch up, and makes him pay with a game-tying grand slam. So Matt Kemp earned his money yesterday, no doubt about it, Tommy.
How do you come back from a game like that?
You just got to come back out. You got to have a short memory in this field, in this industry, in Major League Baseball. You come back out today. You come out. Hopefully, Wood gives you a good start. You score some runs early for him, and you get a W and win the series.
Role playing today. Now he's
Jim Day,
and I'm Pick. I just got a whole lot better looking. Farm. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. By your local Ford dealer. Ford, drive one. By the Regional Tourism Network. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline. Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, much like Sean Casey, it is Skyline time.
It's always Skyline time.
Dodgers and the Reds from Great American Ballpark today. And after a very bumpy month of April for Travis Wood, Sean, he has really settled in nicely and has thrown very well the entire month of May and now his first start in June.
Well, he's had a great May for the Reds, which they needed, and now, you know, that first month after getting through that, now it's time for hopefully Travis Wood to be that lefty in that rotation to continue on and have a great season.
Travis Wood made 6 starts during the month of May. 5 of the 6 were quality starts. And the series is on the line today. Wood against Ohio native Chad Billingsley. First pitch from Great American Ballpark. Votto and the Reds. Kemp and the Dodgers up next.
Presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Reds are firing the ball around the infield. We're just about set for the first pitch here at Great American Ballpark, the series finale today. And Don Mattingly's starting lineup for the Dodgers. Jamie Carroll at short, Aaron Miles at second, Andre Ethier in right. Matt Kemp, the center fielder, Casey Blake at third with Jerry Sands in left field. First start of the series for Rod Barajas, James Loney all the way down to the 8-hole. And Defiance, Ohio native Chad Billingsley is on the mound for the Dodgers. And starting it for the Reds, making his first ever appearance against LA, is Travis Wood. A team-high 8 quality starts so far for Travis Wood this year. We talked about how well he pitched in the month of May after an up-and-down April. First pitch to Jamie Carroll, low and in, ball 1, and we're underway. Of course, Matt Kemp drew so much of the headlines yesterday, clubbing the 2 home runs, including the grand slam that tied the game. But Carroll is big a part of the mix, as was Aaron Miles, as Kemp was in the Dodger win. Carroll had 4 hits, was on base 5 times, knocked in a run, and scored a couple of runs. Got to do a better job against guys like him and Miles today.
you know, Jamie Carroll's one of those guys, and Aaron Miles, they're guys that just, you know, they're not going to hit you the big home runs. They're not going to drive you a ton of runs, but they're quality big league ball players. You can't sleep on guys like this either. You got to still make quality pitches, or like you saw yesterday, they'll turn out to beat you with some big hits and getting on base all day.
2-2 on Carroll. Carroll figures to play regularly the remainder of this entire year. He's already played a lot more than he thought he would. The Dodgers' projected starting infield has started a total of 2 games together this entire year. They thought they'd have Blake down at third, for Call at short, Juan Uribe at second after signing from the Giants, and Loney over at first. But Blake has missed a lot of time. For Call on the DL again after another injury here on Friday night. Uribe they're hoping to have back off the DL tomorrow.
That's the one thing about this industry, Tom, is that you just can't predict injuries. You know, you come into spring training, you come into the season, you think this is who we're rolling with, and it's going to be a great year, and then guys just start going down, and you got to have guys come up and be able to fill the gaps.
Well, there's a leadoff walk to Jamie Carroll. After Wood was ahead in the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Lewis getting the start today in left field. Along the infield, Cairo for Scott Rowland. And again, Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. So not a good way to get it started here. A leadoff walk to Jamie Carroll, and that'll bring up Aaron Miles. Miles, another guy, came into this series having a hard time getting on base despite playing a lot, and this is all he's done now for 3 days. Hammered into left field down the line. They're going to hold the runner at third, and here come the Dodgers right from the get-go. A walk and a double, Carroll and Miles.
Just like you said, Tommy, these guys hurt us yesterday, and they come out today. Carroll gets on with a walk. Miles gets a pitch down and in. Just, you know, it falls right into his wheelhouse. Miles hits another rocket. But these are 2 guys you don't expect to, you know, do damage on you, but they get on base, and then you start seeing Ethier come up and Kemp come up, and that's how they got hurt yesterday. So Wood's got to find a way to, over the course of this game, to keep those guys back off base. See if he can get out of it here.
Well, we talked. Now you're in damage control mode. I mean, really, the Dodgers are thinking a couple of ground balls, maybe a ground ball and a fly ball, and you should score 2 runs. And Wood, of course, trying to keep it maybe at 1. There's a liner into left. The runner at third will tag. Throw comes into the plate, not going to be in time. Sac fly RBI by Ethier. 1-0 Dodgers.
Well, Ethier did his job right there. When you get second, third, no outs, you just try and get a pitch up. You can do even, and he jumped on the first pitch there, but he does his job. Gets a nice line drive out to left field, gets a chance of Carroll to tag up and make it 1-0.
I believe they're going to appeal the play over at third base as to whether or not Carroll jumped the gun early. Miguel Cairo going to go over to the bag. He turns around and looks at the third base umpire Hunter Wendelstedt to let him know that's exactly what they're going to do. He may have left early, and Hunter Wendelstedt says no, he didn't. Has a long day yesterday for Mr. Wendelstedt. Behind the plate yesterday, temperatures on the field, including the humidity, up over 100 degrees, and he had a good day behind the plate.
Well, you know, Hunter too is, you know, he's got all that equipment on. You know, you're sweating bullets back there, 4 hours, 90-some degree. You're right, almost 100 degrees in the field. It's a long. You know, forget about the umpires sometimes wearing black, attracting the heat.
It really isn't that ridiculous they continue to wear black. I mean, really, through all the years, it's not like all of a sudden, you know, in a football game or, you know, a lot of moving parts and a lot of bodies flying around, and you mistake an official for a player. I mean, in this game, it seems like it could go to, I don't know about white jerseys, but the old light blue shirts they used to wear.
Yep, they could do something with blacks.
In the air, left field, hit a ton, and Kemp has done it again. He is homered for the 3rd time in his last 5 at-bats in this series, and it is a 3-0 game. And for Kemp, that's now 9 home runs in his last 14 games against Cincinnati pitching.
Wow. I'll tell you what, hot is an understatement.
white hot right here, and this pitch just does not get in enough. It's a little bit in off the plate, but 87 where Matt Kemp can handle it, gets it up. You saw the grand slam here yesterday was the same kind of pitch, up, out over the plate. And when you're hot, you don't miss those pitches, Tommy. You don't miss them. And, you take a look right here. Performance Honda Exmo. Bam. Look at that. Just gets his arms extended. Doesn't get in there enough. You got another 2-run bomb from Matt Kemp.
Well, this Dodger team, which came limping into this series, having a terrible time scoring runs through the first 2 months of the year. They were held down in the opener to just the 1 run against Bronson Arroyo and 3 Reds relievers. But then the explosion that began in the 8th inning yesterday when the Reds had a 7-2 lead. Dodgers scored 5 times to tie it. They got 4 in the 11th to win it, and 3 right from the get-go against Travis Wood here in the series finale. In the air off the bat of Casey Blake in a shallow center. Stubbs is there, 2 out.
I think that's going to be just a big key, like we talked about before. Carroll and Miles, let's keep them off base, keep Ethier and Kemp up, hopefully with nobody on. Minimize the damage that those guys can do to you.
So now Jerry Sands, young left fielder. Don Mattingly made the comment before the game yesterday. He's going to run Sands out there from now on daily. They've used 6 different players out in left field so far this year. But Sands is a guy they certainly feel has the most upside. Had some monster years coming up in their minor league farm system. So they're going to run him out there and see what happens.
Yeah, what they should. And as a young player, when you get your manager saying, hey, we're going to run you out there every day, we're going to give you a chance to play, your confidence goes up a little bit. You know, hey, if I go 0 for 4, I'm going to be back in the lineup tomorrow. Now you can start settling in and have good at-bats, good days, and start getting your swing going.
1-2 to Sands. And that's strike 3 called, and the inning is over. But early damage. And again, Kemp doing most of it. 3-0 Dodgers. Dusty Baker's starting lineup reads as follows. Drew Stubbs in center, Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first, Jay Bruce back in a cleanup spot, Fred Lewis in left with Miguel Cairo at third, and a latter third of Ramon Hernandez, Paul Yanish, and Travis Wood. Highly touted prospect from the day he came to the Dodgers, our Farmers Insurance report card on Chad Billingsley. Obviously with a problem scoring runs for the Dodgers, a 4-4 record, despite the fact that his ERA is under 3.5. This guy's a good pitcher.
Chad Billingsley's got good stuff. I mean, obviously they signed him to a long-term deal. They like him in the middle of that rotation, up top of the rotation behind Kershaw, and good-looking pitcher.
Now, having said that, the Reds have really banged him around. The last 3 times they have faced him, in 3 games, he has not even lasted 14 total innings. Has given up 21 hits and 14 runs. So we'll see how it goes here today. Ball 1 to Stubbs at 260. You see the overall numbers for Billingsley. Opponent's batting just 239 against him. And that ball's hammered into left field, and the Reds are on the board.
That ball was absolutely hammered, Tommy. Hey, they got a pitch right out over the plate, 1-0 count. Drew Stubbs trying to send a message, get the Reds right back into this game.
First home run for Stubbs in nearly a month, going back to May 11th.
Man, does he get great, unbelievable extension right there. Ball out over the plate. You can see it right here. I mean, he just sits. This ball has nothing special on it. 4-seamer, doesn't move at all. Look at that, just comes right out over the plate. And Drew Stubbs says, almost like a BP fastball, see you later.
So a 3-1 ball game, and here's Brandon Phillips, home run number 8 on the year by Stubbs. Phillips at 292, 5 home runs and 31 runs batted in. In the air, a bit off the end of the bat, and Kemp able to run it down in right center for the first out here in the first inning. We take a look at the Dodgers on defense, brought to you by Ford. Same outfield as yesterday, Sands, Kemp, Defield. Same infield as well. The only change among their position players, the catcher Rod Barajas starts in place of Fiona Navarro. Joey Votto had a couple of hits on base 3 times yesterday, including a tie-breaking 3-run home run in the 6th inning off Clayton Kershaw. Well, it's hard to turn the page on a game like yesterday. You're facing arguably, and certainly it's debatable, the best left-hander in the league. There are those that'll say Cliff Lee or Jaime Garcia, Cole Hamels. I mean, you know, on any given day, any one of them capable of shutting you out. Any given year capable of winning a Cy Young. But you score the 4 runs to go ahead of him. Then you tack on 3 more in the 7th inning, and you think you're in business. And it got away.
Especially a guy, when you got Clayton Kershaw on the ropes, a guy like that, where you're battling those games when you face those guys. You get a 7-2 lead in the 8th. You got to somehow try and win that game. Votto comes up with the big home run off of Kershaw. You don't get those big hits off guys like that often. You got to try and capitalize on that game and finish it off. And I think that's why after the game, Bake was so, I think so disappointed about that loss.
Two and two to Votto. 35 runs batted in, second only to his running mate waiting in the on-deck circle, Jay Bruce. And a check swing. They appealed and looked like he went. And Hunter Wendelstedt agrees. Full count on Votto.
But when you look at Joey's numbers, the one stat that impressed me the most is 50 walks and 36 strikeouts. I mean, to have that many, to be the power hitter he is and the run producer he is, and have that many more walks than strikeouts is impressive.
Told you Billingsley from Defiance High School in Defiance, Ohio. Naturally, he's a member of that school's Athletic Hall of Fame. Had planned on going to college at the University of South Carolina, but the Dodgers made him the first-round pick, 24th overall, back in June of '03. And there's strike 3 called, and Votto knew it.
Now there's a pitch right there. Billingsley 3-2, got that good 2-seamer inside right here. Rides on his hip. You see Votto kind of give up on it at the end. it's one of those pitches where it's a great pitch for a pitcher. If he throws it perfect, you can't pull the trigger. If he misses with that pitch, though, that can go a long way.
So now Jay Bruce, 17 home runs, 46 runs batted in. He came in tied with Matt Kemp atop the National League RBI leaders. But, of course, Kemp breaks that tie with a 2-run home run in the top of the first inning here today. And that'll get through into right field, a base hit by Bruce.
Jay does a nice job right there. Same thing. The ball out, up, over the plate. Billingsley doesn't get it down. And Bruce has that quick swing down, just gets on top of the ball, gets it right in the hole.
You know, Billingsley, for a couple of years there, certainly had whispers behind his back, if not right out into the open, some shouting that he was a guy with all the talent in the world, but for whatever reason was just unable to put it all together and really go out there and compete the way you want a projected quote-unquote #1 guy to compete. Now, whether or not he becomes a #1 guy, well, we'll wait and see, as that will be called. Pitch had got a piece of Fred Lewis, and so he'll take first base, and Jay Bruce will advance on to second. But anyway, just to finish the thought, the bottom line is this guy, as you take a look at Lewis getting hit with a pitch, the bottom line is, despite all his detractors out there, and he's had plenty of them, Billingsley coming into this year is 18 games over 500 with a career ERA of 3.5. That's pretty good. That's
pretty legit. I think one thing you learn as you come up through the minor leagues, you come up, you're out of high school, you start learning to grow up a little bit, and then you start learning to pitch. And I think you've seen Chad Billingsley become that pitcher, guy that knows what kind of stuff he has, and is learning really how to pitch in the big leagues. You don't have those kind of numbers if you're not putting together a good game plan night in and night out.
Ball one to Miguel Cairo in for Roland today, a .301 batter, a home run, and 8 runs batted in. Cairo making his 19th start overall of this season, most recently on Friday night. One and one to Cairo. Good speed out on the bases for the Reds with Bruce at second and Lewis at first. Loney plays behind him over there. And the 1-1. Breaking ball that just stayed up. A lot of cloud cover here today. And certainly when the sun is behind some of those clouds, it makes it a lot more comfortable than it was here yesterday. Bright sunshine, high humidity. You have to go all the way back to 1925, the last time the Reds played on June the 4th, or any day in this city's history on June the 4th, where it reached 96 degrees. 2-2 on Cairo.
It was uncomfortably hot yesterday. There's no doubt about it. When you're down there on those fields wearing those long pants, it gets hot. It gets hot. Not as hot as it was on the turf back in the day, though. That was hot, hot, hot. But I'll tell you what, when you get up in the 90-degree range out here on day games, you're going to feel it.
Two on, two out. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Miguel Cairo. Billingsley to the plate. And a bouncer foul. Now, you were hanging out yesterday up at the CBTS Riverboat up at a pilot house up there. Now, were you hanging outside a lot, or were you sitting inside the air conditioning?
Well, I was inside the air conditioning. I was outside. Then when I got too hot, I'd go inside. And you know, we were out there with the Dragonfly Foundation, which is great. A kid was out there, Bobby, who had battled with some leukemia, and it was a great you know, day. Get a chance to meet him and his family, and but it was hot. We were all hot. We were all hot outside. But I'd go inside and get in there and get myself some ribs. That's odd.
2-2. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, Dragonfly, an organization put together in affiliation with Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I know that John Burns, the head of CBTS, is so very active in that organization. And Boy, all the charitable things that Cincinnati Bell and CBTS do around this community is just amazing.
It is amazing. It's so great. I mean, it is so great. And John was out there yesterday. You can check out the dragonflyfoundation.org, too, to see what they're doing, the great things they're doing. But John was out there yesterday, and like I said, we got a chance to meet Bobby, and we got a chance to, just have a couple laughs. But the foundation and what they do is pretty unbelievable for those kids.
3-2, runners go, and a foul ball back to the screen by Cairo. Dodgers got 3 in the top of the first. Stubbs leads off the bottom of the inning with a home run. Now the Reds looking for more. Fred Lewis at first, Jay Bruce at second, 2 away in the inning. Runners will get started on another 3-2 pitch to Miguel Cairo. And a bouncing ball to the shortstop. He'll play to first, and that'll do it. Reds get a run on a leadoff home run from Stubbs. And at the end of one, the Dodgers in front 3-1. Injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Will we see opening day starter Edinson Volquez return to the major leagues on Tuesday night? Nothing official has been announced of yet. Dusty Baker telling Jim Day there's a strong chance that'll happen, but no official move. Volquez making his last 2 starts very good ones down at AAA. And there you see his overall season numbers with a major league club. The Reds really need him to get it together.
I see the big thing is the 51 innings, 38 walks. I mean, I think that's a big reason you get into trouble there. They need him to come back and really be the guy that they think he can be. He's got top of the rotation type stuff, but he just has to get back there, put it all together, get strike one, and not walk so many guys.
So here we go in the second inning. Dodgers leading 3-1. Rod Barajas leading things off, and he looks at a strike. Well, you're a good buddy. My dad, I know he's sitting back watching a ball game today, having the weekend off.
I wonder what he's doing. I wonder if he's, I'm sure he's kicking back right now on his couch, just enjoying the game, being real positive in his mind.
Well, you told him the other day, the older he gets, the more
I think
positive
that's what I said. I said, Marty, I really think the older you get, man, the more positive you become. And then I think he just slapped me in the head a couple of times.
That ball hit hard, but Lewis able to make the sliding play. And had a lot of top spin on it.
It's a tough play right there by Fred Lewis. He makes it look easy, but the ball was kind of dying down into the grass, and Fred gets around it and is able to get that glove under it.
The leadoff man retired here in the Dodgers' second inning, and that'll bring up James Loney. Loney, a guy the last 4 years has hit right in the heart of that Dodger lineup. But after a terrible April, he started to swing the bat better in May. Better from an average standpoint, but really that's where that number oftentimes can be very misleading. During the entire month of May, Loney only knocked in 8 runs. And he's dropped all the way down to the 8th hole for the series finale against the left-hander Travis Wood today.
You know, when you look at James Loney right here in his setup, look how close to the plate he is. He is right on top of the dish. His back foot is on that line, but he's right on top of the dish right there. And when he first came up, James Loney, he was a big left center type hitter. I mean, he really used the whole field. And you're starting to see now, I don't know if he's on top of the plate, but you really can't drive the ball anywhere if you can't handle that ball in. And I think sometimes he has a tough time with that ball inside.
That was where he used to do so much damage as a left-handed batter. I mean, there were times you'd fight him off in the left field and get hits, but if guys made mistakes, you could turn on it and hammer it down to right.
Yeah, I was always big on set up to center to left center and really work on the fastball that way. And if a guy came in, then I would just react in. I think Joey Votto's, you know, a lot of guys have the same kind of setup. Is you set up middle to left center and you react in instead of looking in there and trying to get that pitch in. I mean, nobody wants the pitch up and under your hands. You know, as a lefty, you want it down and in, but your sight should be to left center and just react it inside.
2 down and Billingsley the batter, and Wood ahead of him at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wood looking for the 1-2-3 second, and it's fouled out of play. But when the Reds get it done with an RBI this season, that means, of course, another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. Two and 2 to Billingsley. 5 hits and 21 at bats, has 2 doubles and a run batted in, so he's no gimme at the plate. Of course, yesterday the Reds losing, the Cardinals winning again. The woes continue for the Chicago Cubs, who have lost 5 in a row. And of course, the Cubbies will be flying to Cincinnati tonight after wrapping up their set at Busch Stadium, and the Reds and Cubs begin a 3-game series here tomorrow night. And Wood having a hard time putting Billingsley away. It remains at 3-2.
I really thought the Cubs would get off to a better start, having Dempster, Garza, adding Garza to that rotation with Zambrano. I thought, you know, that's a legit top of the 3 right there in your rotation. They have really not played that good of baseball up to now.
9 pitches in this at bat so far. Wood against Billingsley. It's interesting to note, you talk about that Cubs starting rotation, and you know, something you alluded to earlier. You begin the year, these are the guys you think you're going to go with. You feel good about it. The only rotation in the league that has pitched fewer innings than the Red starters are the Cubs starters. And that's hard to believe. I mean, with real workhorse guys throughout their careers like Zambrano, like Dempster, like Garza, even to a lesser extent a guy like Randy Wells. He didn't have a good year last year, but he had a very good rookie year. So now pitch number 11 in this at bat. And it is clubbed into left field. And that is a home run by the pitcher.
Wow, well, Billingsley was, you know, we got to 12 pitches there, was just missing pitches. Wood just kept throwing that 4-seamer, trying to get it by him. But you can see Billingsley's one of the better hitting pitchers in baseball. You can tell by his swing that he has an idea of what he's doing up there. And he just couldn't get this one by Wood. Out over the plate, up. I think that's the big thing. It's out over the plate and up, where Billingsley was able not to foul it off, but able to deposit it into the left field seats.
Well, again, it just comes back to the ability to be able to put guys away. I mean, you have the opposing pitcher with a 1-2 count. Foul ball, miss, foul ball, miss. And then bang, second career home run for Billingsley, his first in 2 years.
Talk about helping yourself out, right? I mean, Wood just could not get a pitch to put him away. Nothing, everything he threw to him was out over the plate. Billingsley just missed, hammering a couple of those pitches that he was fouling back.
Well, right from the get-go, Travis has labored early on today. He walked this guy, Jamie Carroll, leading off the game. Carroll went to third on a double by Miles. Carroll scored on a sac fly by Ethier, and then Miles scored on the 2-run home run by Matt Kemp. So the 4-1 Dodger lead here in the second inning. And that will retire the side. But Billingsley homers, and the Dodgers lead again by 3. Baseball writer Hal McCoy shares a story about Hall of Famer Bob Feller. FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com.
I got a great Bob Feller story I'll have to share with you later.
Really?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Would he hit you in an old timers game or something?
No, I hit him. I think I almost took him out about my first big league camp ever in '98. He'd come out and Bob Feller would throw in front of the dugout, and Mike Hargrove was like, "Hey, Case, go throw with him." I was like the young rookie, so I threw with him. And Torrey Lavula was like, "Hey, you can throw a little harder, Case," because I was kind of lobbing it in there. And I just, all right, no problem. I reached back, threw it. His glove didn't move. Boom, hit him right in the chest. He went down. I went right over, Mr. Feller, are you okay? Are you okay? Like all the training staff comes out. I'm like, oh my gosh. He turned out to be okay though.
You were released the next day.
I almost got released for real. No, seriously.
Well, God rest his soul. He was so popular, stayed so active in the Indians organization and all the Tribe fans. And I remember Rick Manning. I really never knew Bob Feller. And you know, he had the reputation even in old-timers games. That's why I said it, really not even tongue-in-cheek. As Ramon Hernandez takes low and in, 2 balls and a strike, where, you know, he was trying to get you out in old-timers games. He wasn't just flipping them up there. He was actually competing, and a lot of guys will tell you that.
I think that's why he was so good. He always had that competitive nature, like, you're not beating me. And I used to throw 107.
There's a liner, but Kemp is there to stay with it. 1 out.
Wow, that ball was knuckling to center field. You know, you always talk about outfielders saying, oh, that ball's knuckling out there. Sometimes you hit a ball just perfect, and it knuckles like that, and it comes out. You can see right here, Kemp comes in on it. It starts knuckling to the left of him, to his right, and he makes a really nice play staying with that baseball.
So one away for the Red shortstop, Paul Janisch. 217 batter with 16 runs batted in, and that one is knocked down by Carroll. Throws from his knees, but that'll be an infield hit for the Red shortstop.
So Janisch just gets enough to get up, but Jamie Carroll almost makes an unbelievable play. Stays with it, gets from his knees. Janisch is getting down the line too good, and he can't make a perfect throw. But nice try by Jamie Carroll up the middle there to try and steal one from Janisch, who's done that so many times to so many people.
Jamie Carroll, like his manager Don Mattingly, both hail from Evansville, Indiana. Not far away from where Scott Rowland grew up in Jasper, Indiana. So Jamie with a lot of friends and family in for this series. The same holds true for Mattingly. When fouled away by Wood, we asked the manager yesterday how many tickets he was leaving. Said knocking on the door of 30.
And you got to, nowadays it comes out of your paycheck paying the tax on those tickets. So, Donnie Baseball has made enough though where he can afford to leave 30 tickets for his family and friends.
And what a guy he is. Oh, he sat in his office for about 45 minutes yesterday, and I mean everything going on around him here in his first year as a major league manager. The Dodger franchise itself and the ownership very much in turmoil. Will Frank McCourt continue to own the team? Major League Baseball is in looking at the financial structure of the franchise. 0-2 now to Wood. So in other words, you have no idea who's going to be your boss, who might be the next boss. What do they think about the job you're doing as a field manager? All of the injuries the Dodgers have been hit with this year, and no team has been more injured to critical players than the Dodgers have been through 2 months of this year. And yet, you never know. Just moving forward, trying to stay upbeat.
I mean, they couldn't have a better personality as far as what they've gone through this season, the ups and the downs. But Mattingly's so even-keeled. And I think as a player, too, I talked to some of the players about Donnie Baseball, and he remembers. He remembers how hard the game is sometimes. That relationship when you have with your manager, you look and see. And this guy understands that I'm not going to go out there and get 3 hits a night. I got to go out there, and just have quality at bats and make quality pitches. But you're right, Donnie Baseball couldn't be more of a perfect guy for what's gone on this year with the Dodgers, all the craziness.
Into center field, that'll be a base hit by Wood. Now the Reds have 2 on with only 1 out, trailing 4-1 here in the second inning, and we go back to the top of the order to Drew Stubbs.
Travis Wood's another guy that swings the bat well, but I think, pride for pride here. Billingsley homers off him. Wood saying, listen, I want to swing the bat here, get a chance to hit. Ball out over the plate. Wood does a nice job of staying on it and driving it back up the middle.
Stubbs with a long home run to left center field, leading off the Reds' first inning. And we mentioned earlier, for Drew, it's his first home run since the 11th of May. That's when the Reds were down in Houston.
Sometimes it takes that one, Tommy, that you haven't had it in a while, but you start to get that confidence back. You get one out of the park, and you start to get your bat in that slot, and that's when you start hitting them with some bunches.
Well, you're only in the second inning. You're only down 3, but you got a legitimate chance to jump right back into this thing right here and right now. 2 on, top of the order up. We'll see if Stubbs, Phillips, and company can cash in. 2-0. Balls and no strikes. Billingsley appearing to be a little too fine here in this at bat with 2 on and only 1 out.
Yeah, especially with Phillips coming up, Votto, Bruce. I mean, Stubbs is a guy you really got to take your chances with here and try to pitch to him.
And a 4-pitch walk to load him up.
This is a situation, like you said before, Tom. This is, you got Phillips coming up, Votto, Bruce, bases loaded, 1 out. You got to capitalize right here. Put yourself right back in the baseball game if you can put a couple across the plate.
And now Rick Honeycutt, the Dodger pitching coach, will come trotting out from the third base dugout to visit with Billingsley, who's hit a batter. He's now walked a batter. He's already given up 4 base hits in the game, and there's only 1 out in the 2nd inning.
You look at Billingsley's pitch count too. We're at 1 1/3 innings. He has bases loaded here. He's already thrown 36 pitches.
So now Brandon, he flied out to the center fielder Kemp his first time up. Paul Giannis, your runner at third. Travis Wood at second. Drew Stubbs at first. 1 out in the inning, and the Reds trailing by 3. Billingsley will work out of the stretch and misses high, ball 1.
As a hitter, when you get 1-0, bases loaded, this is where you're really looking to jump on something, get a pitch you can really drive, because he's got nowhere. He doesn't want to keep it. He wants to come up with something, a strike here, but this is a pitch where you can get something middle in and really do some damage.
Nowhere near the strike zone. 2-0. Four career grand slams for Brandon Phillips. And he's got him loaded right now with only 1 out and a 2-0 count. Took a big hack, 2-0, and came up empty.
That's the hack you want to see, though, right there. You got to do it. 2-0, bases loaded. Take your shot.
Phillips not sure about that call from a home plate umpire, Brian Knight, for a pitcher who's been all over the map and gets that borderline call. So now Phillips, generally when he gets to 2 strikes or 2 outs in an at bat with runners on base, he likes to try and hit the ball the other way. Really cut down on that swing, and that's what we saw yesterday against Kershaw. With runners on and 2 out in that 6th inning, he tied the game with a single to right field. Although he wasn't looking to serve one into right with that hack.
No, he was taking a hack right there. He fouled it straight back. I mean, he's right on that pitch. Just fouled it straight back, and the Barras, his mask, just missed doing some damage on that 2-2 pitch.
It's a big at bat here for the Reds. Already down 3. They've got him loaded with 1 out. The count is full. All right, now what are you saying to yourself right here? I mean, you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's 3-2.
Yep. 3-2. I'm staying focused on what I need to do. I'm looking for a pitch out over the plate, something I can drive and make sure that if I do it, I do some damage here. But I know Votto's behind me. I know he's got to come to me right here. I know it.
And what I mean was, I probably should have clarified a little bit. You know, I would imagine, and I don't know, I've never been in it, but I would imagine that you get maybe a little bit antsy too, yeah. Right? And you see a lot of guys swinging a bad pitch on a 3-2 count.
Exactly. Well, I think that's what you got to be able to to back down a little bit. You got to take that anxiety, that excitement you have right here. 3-2. You got Votto on deck. He's going to give you something. You still got to be able to relax, slow the game down, get a good pitch, and drive it.
3-2 again on Brandon Phillips. And again, it's fouled away out of play.
That's the big thing right there, Tom, is that you're doing that all year long, all day in and day out, is trying to control that anxiety, trying to control in the good, that excitement. I don't know if it's anxiety, but excitement of, oh, we got a big situation here. Okay, I'm at my best when I can relax and just, process the whole thing and see the ball. So you can't get caught up in the situation. You just got to still do your job.
Ninth pitch in his at-bat coming to Brandon Phillips. And another foul ball out of play. So Billingsley throwing strikes, and Phillips able to stay alive. Well, you know who's waiting on deck, but first things first. This is a critical at-bat with already one out in the inning. Three balls, two strikes. Phillips waits. And it's off the leg and into center field. That'll bring in two. And on to third goes Stubbs. And Phillips delivers to make it a one-run game.
What a great at-bat right there. Just fighting those pitches off until he got a pitch he felt like he could do some damage on. Finally gets a pitch up, out over the plate. Hits a rocket back up the middle. But watch this pitch right here. Gets a lot of play right off Billingsley's ankle. Gets it up the middle. Stubbs does a great job of getting to third base. You can see that he reads it right here. He starts slowing down, realizes he can get to third base, and gets to third base, first and third with one out. And Phillips is fired up over there.
Money player, man.
He is. He's been all year, hasn't he?
Money player. All right, now Votto tying run at third. Go ahead, run at first. Only one out in the inning. Breaking ball in there, strike. Votto looked at strike three, his first at bat.
This is always a good situation, too. You got that first and third here where Loney has to hold him on. That's a bigger thing of Stubbs getting to third base. Now Votto's got that whole right side. And as a left-handed hitter, you really look to get that pitch. You can just even hit it just to get a nice single over there to the right side.
We started to pull the trigger and then took strike two. One and two on Votto. The tying run is Stubbs at third. The lead run Phillips at first. One out, and Billingsley delivers. Struck him out. Well, Billingsley has looked by far the best against Votto. The best hitter in the lineup, but anybody else is up and down the order.
Threw him a bunch of tough pitches. Barajas wanted this curveball down. He said it right before when he set up. He said, give it to me down. And Billingsley does a great job of starting that curveball right in the zone and dropping it right where Barajas wanted it, and that was down in the dirt. He pitched Votto pretty tough right there.
So now if the Reds are going to tie this game or even take the lead, it will be up to Jay Bruce. Bruce singled into right field his first time up.
Jay thought that pitch might have been a little down and outside, but if anything, maybe a little down.
Nothing in one on Bruce with a tying run at third. And it's a fastball muscled foul and out of play. And Billingsley really getting down to business against these back-to-back left-handed batters in the heart of the Reds' order. 4 straight Reds reached base in this inning. Giannis, Wood, Stubbs, Phillips. Then you get Votto and Bruce coming up. He strikes out Votto, and he's jumped in front of Bruce, 0-2. Pitch number 30 of the inning, delivered by Billingsley, sails up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
.53 pitches in the second. I mean, the Reds, if anything, they've done their job of getting that pitch count up. You're not going to see Billingsley in here much. Well, he might get through 5 innings, but his pitch count, they keep it going. He's going to be way up there.
And it's popped up. Well, you got to give it up to Billingsley. I mean, it was an ugly inning. But when it mattered the most, he just plows through Votto and Bruce. The Reds get 2 and trail by a run at the end of 2.
I'm still stuck on 4 RBIs. Hey.
He's staring a 3-hit game right in the face right now.
Hey, way to get your RBI. I set him up for you. I don't want the RBI. I set it up for you. I want you to have. We're doing this together for all the small guys that can't make it. You know what I mean? Small ball.
That's great stuff yesterday. Jamie Carroll wearing a microphone on our Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Brandon Phillips generally wears it every single Saturday whenever Fox comes into town, but every now and again they like to give guys a break and not ask them to do it every week. I'm sure he'll be wearing it Saturday when a team is on from San Francisco.
Sometimes you wear that mic. I know they asked me to wear the mic a lot because I was always talking to people over there at first base. That was kind of my MO. But you know, sometimes when you, I know for me, I don't think I ever had a good game when I was wearing that mic. For some reason, I knew it was on. And one time we were playing the Cardinals. I was 0 for 4. Isringhausen comes in. I take the mic off thinking that's going to help, and he punched me out at the end of the game. So it didn't work. Mic or no mic, I was not having a good game that night.
2-1 to Aaron Miles. We begin the third inning. It's been a wild game so far. 4 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Reds. And what pitcher will settle in and start getting things together? Travis Wood gave up 3 in the first inning, retired the first 2 batters in the second inning before allowing a solo home run to Chad Billingsley. Aaron Miles, a fly ball to right to begin the third. Andre Ethier, sac fly RBI to left field in the first inning. Strike one. As most of you know, Ethier began the year the hottest hitter in either league. He had a 30-game hitting streak. And then all of a sudden, when that came to an end, the very next day he went into a long tailspin. 2 weeks went by when he hit less than 100. In fact, it got so bad that Don Mattingly sat him down for an entire 3-game series against the Houston Astros. But then once he got back, worked on a swing with the 3 days off. And he's been hitting like Andre Ethier ever since. Good pitch there by Wood. A late break and never going to get to it. That's a routine pop up into left field. Throw in his second is cut off. Reds are playing so deep for a left-handed batter out there, and Ethier is not a guy with opposite field power.
Yeah, that just didn't look good right there. That ball's hung up there too long not to be caught. I mean, Wood gets in on Ethier here, really jams him, gets inside the baseball, and you can't even see Fred Lewis in the picture. He's playing way back there, almost by the track, and that thing drops in. I think it looks like maybe he lost it off the bat. It looks like he lost it right away. He kind of took a step back, put his glove up, and just got a bad jump on that ball.
Well, you can understand this move. Why even take a chance with Matt Kemp? He's hit 3 home runs the last 5 times he's come to the plate over the last 2 days. And knocked in 7 runs in those 5 at-bats.
And his confidence is through the roof right now. You could throw a little BB up there right now, and he'd somehow square it and hit it 450 feet. So this is definitely the right move. Get Casey Blake up there, hopefully get a ground ball, double play.
You know, Don Mattingly made the point yesterday about what a great season Kemp is having, and certainly the numbers back that up. You know, he's talking about playing in the National League West, and you know, when you travel around that division for a while, and I had a chance to do that for a decade, you know, you go rolling into Petco Park in San Diego, you go up to San Francisco, huge ballparks. Dodger Stadium, like you talked about on Friday night, especially during the nighttime, that is a very tough place to hit home runs. Phoenix, a good hitter's park. It's not a great hitter's park, but it's better than average, that's for sure. And while Denver, there's still a lot of room in the outfield, the runs scored per game and certainly the home run ratio per game has come way down ever since they started using the humidor. There's a base hit into right. They're going to hold the runner at third. So after the walk to Kemp, a base hit by Blake, and the Dodgers are beating on the door again. But to finish your thought, Mattingly said Matt Kemp would have at least 7, 8, 9 more home runs this year already, were it not for playing so many games inside that division and in those big ballparks.
I totally agree. I mean, I think when you're playing out in the West, and like you were talking about, Tom, those are Petco Park's a bomb. You know, out in San Fran, it's a bomb. I mean, they have places, you know, when you're playing there day in and day out in that division, you're still putting up the huge numbers Matt Kemp's putting up. That's what makes his year so impressive and what he's doing. You can only imagine if he was playing here every day, he'd probably have, you know, like you said, 7, 8 more home runs.
Well, here's Jerry Sands. First batter in the inning, retired. Ethier reaches on the pop-up to left. It falls in for a double. 0-2 to Sands. After a walk to Kemp, a single by Blake. And there's strike 3 called. A 3-pitch at bat for Sands with the bases loaded, and that is a critical second out in the inning.
Travis Wood knew too here. I got to get a punch out here. I cannot surrender a run from a pop-up or a ground ball, and he comes out with almost looks like a backdoor cutter away and is able to catch the outside part of the plate. Great pitch sequence right there to Jerry Sands. Really, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Big punch out right there with 1 out.
Well, now you need the final out of the inning. Dodgers already in front 4-3, and Rod Barajas, the batter, he hit the ball very hard to left field, a liner that was caught by Fred Lewis his first time up, and that appeared to be a cross up there between Travis Wood and Ramon Hernandez. They're very lucky that ball did not get away, allowing a run to score.
These first 2.5 innings so far, Tom, we've seen a lot of damage control with these pitchers. Getting into trouble, trying to get out of it. Getting into trouble, trying to get out of it. It's tough to go through a whole game, you know, when you're really getting into trouble every inning.
Popped up behind the plate, and Hernandez will give it a look, but it's about 5 rows back. Milwaukee has jumped all over Florida. An early 3-0 lead for the Brewers, batting now in the 4th inning. Cardinals and the Cubs will get started in about 5 minutes from now. Dodgers have them loaded, a 1-run lead in the 3rd with 2 out. 2-2 on Barajas. Take a look at the Honda Central Division standings going into play. Reds losing a game yesterday, slipping to 4.5 back, 1 game over 500. And they're 2.5 behind Milwaukee. '65th pitch of the game coming up for Travis Wood, and he's hoping number 65 will leave him loaded here in the Dodger 3rd inning.
He's made some quality pitches to Barajas. Really came in before on that fastball, trying to stay out, getting out over that plate, but he needs one more good pitch here to get out of this inning with really with some big time damage control right here.
Barajas, guy been around a long time. 2-2 the count on the Dodger catcher, and that is a fair ball. 2 runs are going to score, and Rod Barajas with a 2-run double. And Wood today just does not have that put away pitch, and he is getting banged around here today. It is a 6-3 Dodger lead.
Well, you see right here, just out over the plate and up again, and the Rod Barajas is able to handle that one. Not in on his hands, out over the plate, lines one down the left field line. But that's been the story today. Wood just doesn't have a put away pitch. You've seen a lot of long at bats, a lot of pitches to a lot of players. Guys aren't really out in front. You don't see a lot of off balance swings. I mean, a lot of guys have been right on Wood's fastball all day long, and he hasn't had anything to put him away. But this last pitch right here, it just is out over the plate, something Barajas can really handle, and he's a straight pull hitter, Barajas, and he gets it and doesn't miss it.
And Dusty Baker wanting to hear from Brian Price about, I'm sure, how does he feel out there right now. You have the number 8 hitter in James Loney coming up, and they're going to intentionally walk him. Now the pitcher due up next. Of course, the Reds just finished a string of 20 consecutive games over 20 days, where they played more than the 20 games if you throw in the 19-inning game, the 12-inning game. They got the 1 day off. They reload again on Friday and will wound up playing, when all's said and done, 33 games in 34 days. The bullpen has been used from an inning standpoint more frequently than any other in the entire National League. And you're still staring down the barrel of another week and a half, nearly 2 weeks before another off day.
That's one thing that hurts you right there. The fact that, you know, we're Travis Wood at the 70 pitch mark, 2 2/3, and you got the bullpen who was strapped yesterday. Again, used a lot of different pitchers, and you're gonna have a chance that them coming in early in this game. I mean, Wood's got to try and find a way to go a few more innings.
Billingsley homered his first time up. And really, the way Billingsley's gone so far here today, being only in the top of the third inning. You got to wonder if 6 runs is enough to win this game today. Probably not.
I think Billingsley knows he needs to add on too. He's had some trouble getting through those first 2 innings. He wants a couple more runs across that board. There's no doubt about it. I'd be surprised if 6 runs is going to be enough today to win this game.
Juan Porky Lopez will answer the phone out in the bullpen from the pitching coach Brian Price. Three and 2 now on Billingsley.